59 individuals are by now sanctioned by the European Union in pursuit of punishing Russia for the war in Ukraine. Many of them are not Russian citizens, though, but more and more the EU is putting its own citizens and those of third states on the sanctions list, for reasons that often have very little to do with the country, with Russia itself. One of them is my compatriot Nathalie Yamb, who was in fact the first Swiss citizens to be included on the sanctions list, back already in June 2025. She joins us today. Nathalie, welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you very much for coming online. You are actually also a YouTuber. You have your own channel. You are quite popular on social media, especially also within the Francophone and kind of African-centered world, because you're also, also Cameroonian. I mean, your mother is, I think your mother is Swiss and your father Cameroonian, or right?
Exactly.
And then you've been actually barred from entering France for quite a while because of your activism, of your anti-colonial activism. And now in June, they put you on that sanction list. Can you maybe tell us what happened to you and why you think it happened?
First of all, thank you, Pascal, for having me. Yes, indeed, I upgraded my sanctioned catalog by being included onto the list of the people sanctioned by the European Council for so-called pro-Russian activities, which is actually, I guess, the most popular reason that they find and the most easiest reason that they find to put people on the sanctions list. As you said, I am actually known for my my work onto sovereignty, African sovereignty, African emancipation and stuff like that. And I've actually never really entered the Russia-Ukraine crisis, except when it came to demonstrate the false narrative or the hypocrisy of the international order in relation with what is happening in Africa. But they wrote into the sanctions motives that I am busy evicting France and the West out of Africa. That's what is written into the motives.
I read it today. It says, it actually mentions, oh, she's against France in Africa.
Yes, exactly. And that's the main reason why I've been put on that list. And if you want to have friends out of Africa, apparently, according to the European Council, then you have to be a Russian agent, which is quite strange in a sense. But the consequences are heavy, I must say. The consequences of being on that list. At the very beginning, I didn't took it really seriously because, as you mentioned, I was already sanctioned by France 3 years before. I was banned from entering and transiting French territories. I didn't mind because I never went to France. It's not, I'm fighting France, so I'm not eager to go there, you know. So it didn't bother me at the time, and I thought that Switzerland not being part of the EU would not affect me. The sanctions of the EU would not affect me, but I was totally wrong because Switzerland is in the middle. Physically, geographically, it's in the middle of Europe, so surrounded by EU countries. And also, Switzerland has a government and companies that are eager to follow the instructions of Brussels, apparently. I thought we were a neutral country, but I experienced otherwise. So the consequences were quite heavy. From one day to the other, I started getting my credit cards canceled, my bank accounts closed, my crypto accounts closed.
And you wanted your Swiss bank account was closed because, again, Swiss banks are under Swiss law. Did they give you a reason why they closed? And did they close it or did they freeze your funds? I mean, did they at least say like, hey, where can we wire the money to?
No, both, I would say. So I only have bank account in Switzerland. I have no bank account whatsoever in the European Union. My only accounts were in Switzerland and in Africa. So one of the bank decided to first freeze my accounts. I had an account in Swiss francs and an account in euros. They decided to freeze both of them. And then they decided to close the account without giving any reason. I even had my lawyer write to them and request them to give us an explanation why the payments that I was doing for my payments for my my rent, my insurance, my health insurance and stuff like that, I would execute them in the app, but they will not be executed in real life. So my lawyer started getting in touch with them. When my lawyer started getting in touch with them, they completely closed the account. Completely. So they are still keeping my euros somewhere there without me having any access to the app anymore, without me having a bank account anymore, but they keep my money. They have closed that account.
So it's frozen. It's frozen. The account is
no, the account is closed. I don't know where my money is. They completely closed my account.
But they gave you a letter saying this money is still with us.
They sent me a letter before closing the account telling me, okay, tell us where we can wire the money. Mm-hmm. So I gave them the only account that I have left in Switzerland that is not blocked, that is not frozen. They wired the Swiss amount on that account, but the euro amount has vanished, has never been wired, and they are not willing to respond.
Well,
they stole it.
That's outrageous. That's even worse. That's stealing. I mean, freezing it would still be yours.
They stole it. Yes, they stole it.
And the other account is
and
that
the
one?
other account is with PostFinance, which almost every Swiss citizen is having an account with PostFinance. They froze the euro account, and they kept the Swiss account, but with limitations. So I can't access Twint anymore. So every Swiss citizen would know what Twint is. It's like a mobile payment application because everybody's using Twint nowadays. Also, the credit cards has been disabled. It's only limited to certain payments that I can do. And what is worse is that even the other banks, the banks I'm not a client with, for example, UBS is the bank where my rent is wired towards my owner is having a bank account at UBS. UBS would refuse payment from coming from my account to PostFinance to pay my rent.
So internal Swiss transactions are being refused.
Absolutely, are being refused. Yes, completely. So that's the very beginning of your nightmare. Then, and if you are abroad when it happens and you don't have any credit cards, you don't have any means of payment, and if you don't have cash with you, then you are lost. You are completely lost. And then you get cut on every platform. You get cut out of Airbnb. You get cut out of what you call it, Google, Amazon,
Google. Your Gmail was closed down.
I was demonetized. My channels were completely demonetized immediately.
Your YouTube.
With YouTube, yes. Yes, because the wiring address was my Swiss account. So since one part of the sanction is the freezing of your asset, the other part is the banning of entering, transiting, and flying over European territory, and the third sanction is the interdiction. So it's forbidden to anybody to provide services or fund to a person sanctioned. So any business accepting your money would run the risk of infringing the sanctions. So people are just choosing to close everything, So and it becomes very difficult because even companies, airlines can refuse to take you as a passenger.
But Google is a US company, and it's headquartered in Ireland, which is European Union,
But I have an experience last week with Expedia. Expedia being an American company based in the US, and I tried to buy a flight ticket which was outside of Europe. departure and arrival was outside of Europe, never going over European territory or whatever. And they took the money, and then they wrote back to me that they are unable to proceed with the ticket. So they would return the money to where it came from, to the card it came from. And they asked me, okay, do you want us to book you a new ticket now that we are online on the phone? I said, okay, let's do it. So they did the transaction. They booked me a new ticket. I paid for the new ticket. They sent the new ticket. And 24 hours later, I received 2 emails from Expedia telling me that it's impossible for them to do business with people that are sanctioned. I'm not sanctioned. I'm not sanctioned in the US. I'm sanctioned in the European Union. The ticket was for a destination and for a flight that was absolutely outside of the US, of the European Union. And though they refused, they said, no, we are not proceeding. We cancel the flights, and you are not getting the money back.
And they just did that. They just
did. I will send you the mail after the recording. You will see it.
It's quite incredible. I mean, and that's Expedia. That's not even the airline doing that.
It's not the airline. It's Expedia telling me, writing to me that they are not. They can't proceed, even though I'm not sanctioned in the United States.
So it
is an American company based in America. And it is for a flight that is outside of the European Union.
So this is the long arm of the European common market, because any company that wants to make sure that they have zero problems, they just voluntarily implement the sanctions, even if they don't have to. It's like their due diligence department, the in-house lawyers probably recommend doing that, and then they just proceed. So have you been able to fly?
I mean, same as the African banks.
Do they implement it too?
Yes. And I was surprised. I was like, right, in Africa, why do you want to close my account? And then they said, oh, we have correspondent bankers in Europe, and we don't want to have any problem. So
were all of your accounts closed, also the ones in Africa?
I'm still left with one. I won't tell the name of the bank because maybe they will then have problems, but I'm left with one account in Africa and a limited account with PostFinance.
Wow, that's absolutely horrible. How about flying? I mean, do airlines board you? Have you been able to fly since you were sanctioned?
I've been able to fly, but you run the risk of having airlines saying they don't want you as a passenger because you are on the list. Everything is connected. They type it at the airport, and then I'm lucky because I've stopped using European airlines a long time ago. When it's not necessary, I was always using other airlines, not European airlines. So for now, it's okay. I don't know how it would be if I had, for example, to fly over the European airspace with an airline. Maybe they would consider that they could accept me as a client, but not on that route and not on that itinerary because it's flying over the European space. I have not experienced it as of now. Let's see.
But this brings me to my next question. I mean, as a Swiss citizen, you have the right to return home. That's a fundamental right in international law. I mean, to my knowledge, it's a human right to return to the state that you've got a passport with, that you're a citizen of, and you haven't been able to go back, have you? I mean,
no, I have not. I have not been able to go back because and this is the same that will happen with Jacques Beau, for example, and for Xavier Moreau. The European Council issues 2 documents. The first one is the decision sanctioning you that you have seen with the motives and everything.
You received that thing to your inbox, to your mailbox?
No, I received it on the internet because if they cannot hand it out to you, or if they don't want to hand it out to you, it's sufficient for them to publish it in the official journal of the European Union.
Right.
This is enough for them. So that's how I was Googling it Google my name when I received a lot of message saying to me, "Oh, we are sorry that it happened to you." And I was just coming out of an aircraft. I was 5 hours in an airplane. I entered, I knew nothing. Five and a half hours later, when I land, I come out. The first WhatsApp message that I receive is from my lawyer, who is telling me, "Oh, I've been informed, I'm standing by." And I was like, what is he standing by for? Why? So I Googled my name, and that's where I saw that I've been sanctioned. That you are not called for, you're not informed of any procedures. You don't have the right or the occasion to have a contradictory meeting with them in order to discuss, okay, you are accusing me of this, let me prove you that. No, it just come out of the blue, puff, and you get it. That's it. So the you get the decision, and then there's another paper that's the rules of the European Union. And in 2024, they decided that they will implement sanctions for pro-Russian activities in Europe, against pro-Russian activities in Europe. And in that règlement, as they call it, so in that règlement, it is written, and in the first article, it's written the definition of European territory, and it includes airspace specifically. So even though they would say, okay, no, you can go home if you want, but in the rules, in the règlement linked to the decision, it says specifically that you can't fly back. And if a company decides to board you and then to bring you back to Switzerland, you can't be sure that you will ever have the opportunity to go out of Switzerland.
Yeah, of course. In the best case scenario, you go and lock yourself in a country smaller than the island of Kyushu in Japan. Yeah.
Yeah, and specifically in a country that is extremely digitalized. And when you are cut out of every digital platform, when you are cut out of every digital payment, every stuff, then probably you will stay there, become homeless because you can't pay your rent. Because as I told you, even the banks that I'm not client in are refusing my payments.
Yeah.
So I am not willing to go back, to risk to go back and be stuck there in an open air jail with no means and anything, so it's a very difficult decision to make.
What did the Swiss do? I mean, this is the moment when you need support by the, consular services. You go to the embassy and tell them, look, you need to help me. It's the same like if you end up in prison abroad, you go and you tell them, help me.
They did nothing. As I told you, I received the information on me being sanctioned when I got out of an aircraft in an African country. So my lawyer liaised with the Swiss embassy of this country and said, "Oh, my client just arrived in the country. We're just getting information that she has been put on a sanction list by the European Union. Can you please provide the consular services, assistance, and everything?" They said no. If I have to liaise with the European Union delegations.
They tell you to liaise with the Europeans, with the people who sanctioned you. They refused you service? They didn't say, like, please come to us?
Yes, they refuse. I even have it in writing because my lawyer was writing to them. So I can prove everything that I'm saying, yes.
Spineless pieces of work. But no, I mean, what are they there for? I mean, seriously. I mean, these are emergency cases when you would actually need this kind of support, because this is a third party attacking you.
But let me tell you, it's not my first experience with non-responsive consular assistance by Swiss diplomats, because in 2019, I was invited to the first Russia-Africa summit to be held in Sochi. And they were actually, I think all heads of states of Africa were there. So I think at least 50 were present at that summit. And I was invited to speak. I had a 7-minute speech to do which I did. And after that 7-minute speech, Emmanuel Macron went mad because, well, I talked about France-Afrique, which is the core of my struggle. And he didn't like it. So when I returned to Ivory Coast, because I was living in Ivory Coast by then, when I returned to Ivory Coast, he had a phone call with the president of Ivory Coast, and I got arrested. I got detained, and then I got expelled from Ivory Coast to Switzerland. That's how I come back to Switzerland, actually. That's, usually they expel Black people from Europe to Africa. I was expelled from Africa to Europe, which was quite interesting. But during my detention, and even before, when the police arrived, because they thought I was at one place and 6 police cars arrived to arrest me, but I wasn't there, actually. So they had to leave, and it became public. And so it was all over the internet. As you said, a lot of people know me in Africa, so it became a huge thing that, oh, the Ivorian police is trying to arrest Nathalie Yamb and stuff like that. So they came and they deposited like a paper asking me to go and present myself at the police station on Monday. It was on a Friday. So receiving that paper, I liaised with the Swiss embassy and said, look, this is happening. Completely not responsive. Completely not. So I went there. I was detained and then I was expelled with nothing. I mean, they froze my account in Côte d'Ivoire, so I'm a bit used to it, but they froze my account for 5 or 6 months. And I arrived on the 3rd of December, which is in winter in Europe. I arrived with my summer dress, my summer shoes, and my handbag, and nothing else. No paper, no clothes, no money, no nothing. That's how I left Côte d'Ivoire in 2019. And I had the Swiss embassy totally absent, not assisting. And it even got worse because when I arrived in Switzerland, I took a lawyer, a Swiss lawyer, and he said to me, okay, we can request, because there's a law about data in Switzerland, that you can ask the bodies to give you the data they have on you. They have to provide you with those data. So we asked for it. We asked the Foreign Affairs Department for my data. We asked the how you call them? The Secret Service, where Bo has been working.
The intelligence, our Nachrichtendienst, our information.
Voilà, Nachrichtendienst des Bundes, genau. And we asked for the government to send me stuff. And mind you, in the document that we received very late, normally they have to provide it within 30 days, I think, but they took 6 months because they said, oh, it's COVID, we have a lot of stuff to do, blah, blah, blah. So after I received the documentation the Département des Affaires étrangères had, so the Foreign Affairs Minister had on me, I could see the exchange that the ambassador of Switzerland had with the government of Côte d'Ivoire and with Bern, with the ministry in
But they
Bern.
exchanged on that level. They did.
Yes, they had. And they are not willing to they got an order not to assist me. And I have it in writing. Yes.
Who ordered the Swiss not to assist you?
It's I can't tell you, the one guy from the minister for the Département EDA in Bern, writing to the ambassador of Switzerland in Ivory Coast.
Yeah. Saying, do not assist her.
Yeah, it's better make low profile, leave it. I will send everything to you. You will see it's second to none.
This should, in my view, this should be an illegal act. I mean, refusing assistance to a citizen. I need to ask my Swiss diplomat friends. I have at least 2 of them.
It's amazing, and even when I received the documentation that the intelligence services had on me, I received a lot of pages that were black redacted. Black redacted. So some pages were completely black redacted. I mean, the ones from the Ministry of of the Foreign Affairs were also heavily redacted, but they missed one part. And that part is the part I'm talking about now. But they redacted a lot. And after receiving those two documents or those two files, I asked my lawyer, I am considered an enemy of Switzerland, because how come my embassy is not helping me? How come the Swiss intelligence service is redacting documents about me, on me, that they are supposed to provide to me?
No. How come that they have those? How come that they start gathering data on you in the first place? I mean, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit shocked. I knew that you had problems with France. I didn't realize that that goes all the way into the Foreign Service and the intelligence of Switzerland, and that you're being surveilled.
No, but that's actually quite normal, because in Africa, the surprise that you experience now, the horror of this dystopian world that you discover now in the middle of Europe, is exactly what I'm fighting against in Africa. France Afrique is about that. It's about secret service. It's about governments meddling into African states. And if you don't comply with what they want, then they sanction you, they punish you, they even kill you. And being head of state or not, they can kill you easily. So it's not something new to me, but I understand it's shocking to you, because that's how it works. And that's the core of my struggle since 20 years now. And now it's sweeping to Europe.
Yeah, it's sweeping to Europe, and they found a way to increase the pressure. So they are now using, I mean, so we are now at the point where we have these Russian sanctions, right, which are supposed to be used against to end the war in Ukraine, right? That's what we are sold, that it is used in order to put pressure on Russia so that the war is ended. But what we are learning is that they are taking it and they are using it against their own citizens and third states, anyone they don't like. They now put it, and they make life horrible, right? I mean, what else did I want to ask you about your experience now with this? How how difficult everything becomes. What are the ways that what are ways, not the concrete ones. You don't have to give anything away that you're doing, but what are ways to deal with the situation so that you can still live a life?
That you can survive. But those sanctions, you can introduce a recourse against them at the European Court in Luxembourg. That's the only court that you can that you can go to.
The European Court of Justice. So that is the judicial branch of the EU. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you have le tribunal,
Tribunal,
which is in the first instance. And after that, you can make an appeal at the Cour de Justice de l'Union Européenne. That's the final one.
The Court of Justice.
So they have those two, yes. So they have those two, so you can do that. And obviously, you have to go against the banks in Switzerland, because the banks in Switzerland or companies in Switzerland that are applying European sanctions without those sanctions being taken over by the Swiss government is illegal. They are not supposed to do that. And we have written to the SECO. My lawyers have liaised with the SECO and draw their attention to the fact
that's Switzerland's
economic
department, yeah.
Economic department, yeah. So my lawyers have taken it to the SECO and draw SECO's attention to the fact that, okay, you are confirming that you are not taking over the sanctions against Nathalie Yamb in Switzerland, but there are Swiss companies that are applying the sanctions, even though the law forbids them to do so. The response was, if it's so, then you are free to take them to court if you want.
So wait. Okay. I was actually not aware of that. This is quite important. So under Swiss law, it is illegal actually for companies to voluntarily comply with foreign sanctions. That's actually quite important. But then
Yes.
that other spineless Swiss institutions, I'm sorry, like Switzerland is a very spineless country. I'm sorry to say that, but we are a very spineless country run by some bureaucrats and administrators who would never ever stick their head out. So I just need to get that out for now. But they tell you then you have to take them to court. We will not intervene from our side and will not tell them stop doing what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then when you have to take the European Council to court in Luxembourg, and then you have to go and take the Swiss banks to court in Switzerland, you need money because maybe people don't know, but paying a lawyer in Switzerland is horrendous. So, and your money is freezed and blocked. So it's kind of a never-ending nightmare. It is very difficult.
The people who do this are very proud of this. I'll send you later an interview yesterday by Florian Warweg in Germany, who not interviewed, but he's at the Bundes press conference, and he asked the people about Jacques Beau and said, like, are you okay with this? Is the German government okay with the EU now sanctioning also Swiss citizens? And they said, like, look, the answer from them was like smirky answers, like, if they're sanctioned, then that was a decision by the EU authorities, so you have to talk to them, not to us, because we're Germany, we're not EU, and these people can always go to the court and prove their innocence. It's like, haha.
But you're not accused of anything. They accused you. I'm not allowed to disclose everything with regards to the current case that I have filed against the EU Council. But when we received the Council's document, because I took them to court now, the decision that they make, the sanctions are administrative measures. It's not a judicial measure. Yeah. It's not.
Yeah, because there's no law. There's no law that forbids what you did.
No.
That's insane.
Somebody. I saw someone writing that Jacques Beau is a speaker for Putin, which is nonsense. But even if he was speaking for Putin, is there a law that forbids him to do so? No, that's the point. But when they sent the file, I wasn't surprised to find what I found, but I found it so scary to have a European body of that level sanctioning people on articles. It was only articles of newspaper. Nathalie Yamb, qui est très proche du Kremlin.
He was very close to the Kremlin, yeah.
Kremlin it must be surprised to know that I'm very close to them, honestly. Nathalie Yamb has attended the Sochi France Russia-Africa Forum. Yeah, but I was also invited at the French Institute for International Relations in Paris, and I spoke the same. That was 2017, and I said exactly what I said in Sochi. I said in 2017 in Paris. Am I a French agent because I went to a conference in Paris attended by ministers, by diplomats, by military people, and by students and stuff like that, and researcher. And I spoke. It's on the internet. It's public. It's on YouTube. You can see what I'm saying. I said it 2 years before I even set one foot in Ukraine, in Russia. I've been accused of being an observer of election in the Donbass. I think it was last year or a year before. All of a sudden, I'm on Twitter, and I found out that European bodies are writing that I had attended as an observer the elections held in Donbass last year, I think. Or I have never set a foot in my life in Donbass, but I don't know how it comes in.
But that is the thing. I mean, for the justification for the sanctions is one single paragraph which can contain anything. It doesn't need to be factual. It doesn't. It can be anything.
No, it doesn't.
You could be accused of talking to aliens. and
Yes.
you're conspiring with aliens. It could be that you could be accused of being a witch and using witchcraft against the European Union. It would still stand because at the end of the day, your name is in the database. And these bastards, by the way, they make sure that they offer an API for the database, so any airline can programmatically check if
They push it
one hire
out
gets-
even.
So
Yeah.
they and it's not even a judicial process. So because under the normal judicial ways of doing things, you would be presumed innocent until proven guilty. But it's not even a judicial process. So it's an administrative process, and the administrative burden on you is to get your name off the list. It's insane. It's insane.
Yes, it is madness, because even now, I mean, with my lawyers, we have started digging into it and stuff like that. They can even change what they wrote as a motives in the course of, let's say you go against them, you win. They make an appeal. In the appeal, they add something else in as a motives. They extend it. They make it a little bit more blurry, and then you are back again. There are people that have won 2 times, 3 times, and they are still sanctions.
Wait. That's very important. Even if you win at the European Court, the Commission can just change and keep you on there,
Yeah.
and then you have to start from scratch.
Zup, from the beginning. It's a nightmare. It's Orwell. It's it's Kafka. It's whatever.
But that means in reality in reality you have no legal way to force them to take you down. They can administratively just renew these the definition indefinitely, and so you're at the mercy. You're literally at the mercy.
You're at the mercy. Every citizen is at the mercy of these people, these faceless bureaucrats. They, even before I was sanctioned, I think 2023, I had an account with a cantonal bank in Switzerland.
The local bank, regional bank.
A local bank. Raiffeisen Bank was a local bank. I had an account, and they wanted to close my account all of a sudden. And I'm like, why are you closing my account? Why do you want to close my account? After several months and discussions and meetings, they finally came through that I am a PEP, PEP. So I was like, why I am a PEP? So PEP is politically exposed person. So, but when PEP were created, they were created for heads of state, their family members, people managing public funds, in order to make sure that they are not getting corruption and everything. I have never been in a management position of a public company. I have never managed any public funds. I am not related, close or far, to any heads of state. My father is a carpenter. My mother is a seamstress. So honestly, we are small people, small, hardworking people. And I ask, how come that you can who put me on that list in first place? How did I land in that personally exposed persons stuff? Got it through the grapevine. It came from France, because you have the GAFI in France, and then they put your name in the list, and all of a sudden you can't open a new bank account. Your current bank account, the people want to take you out. This list was meant to be for for people in government positions and their next of kins. It was also meant to reduce, to identify and follow financier of terrorism or weapons seller or drug dealers. I'm none of those. I'm none of those. I'm a normal Swiss, Cameroonian, African citizen living there. My small life, doing my videos. I mean, you've looked you've watched my videos. I mean,
I have your videos there. I mean, I mean, and I have several people on my channel who will attest that Europe still treats most parts of Africa like a fiefdom, like an economic fiefdom that can be abused. And you're speaking out against that. I mean, this neocolonialism needs to be exposed, and you're being punished for this. I mean, activists from Africa are being punished for this, and you also happen to be Swiss.
Yes, absolutely. And you are put in a list, and I'm just telling you that episode because you get into a list and you never get out.
Yeah.
You don't really know who put you in, and you don't really know why you're put in. So it's difficult for you to get out of the list.
It's punishment by administration. It's not judicial, and they're now turning that. So, and just, ladies and gentlemen, just to make this very clear, the Europeans have been using this way of doing things for decades towards people outside of Europe, and they're now turning it into Europe. They're turning it on their own populations. Just to know, I mean, other people have been for decades victims of this kind of bullshittery, which is not a judicial process.
It's absolutely not, and it's very difficult because it's difficult to see an end of it, and it will also affect your next of kin. For example, I have a son who is living in Switzerland. He has nothing to do with what I'm doing, actually, but because he bears the same name, then sometimes when he makes payment, he gets the payment back, the money.
Oh, really?
It's executed. Yes. It starts like this, and one day you find your family, your next of kin, in the middle of the sanction. So they are collaterals of the sanction. My son I'm expected to be a grandmother soon. I won't be able to be there.
Yeah.
Finish. Can't come back. I won't be able to be there. My mother will be turning 80 next year. I won't be able to be there. Those stuff is really affecting, and that's what they are meant for. They are meant to affect your mental health. They are meant to affect your determination, your resilience. They are meant to affect you financially, morally, psychologically, so that you are so busy into looking for solutions for the problems that you don't have any time left to pursue your struggle, your anti-imperialist, anti-colonial struggle, or whatever struggle you are in. I mean, that's what they want, and it's quite scary, I must say. Yes,
I wonder how you can still smile at this. I mean, so how do you deal with it, like psychologically for yourself? Like, what did you do to care for yourself in that moment?
Thank God I arrived into a foreign country at the time when I heard about the sanctions, but I had friends that were there. And that was my immediate support system, even financially, because when you want to pay your hotel bill and then it's declined, you want to buy a bottle of water in and stuff and it's declined, and you see you can't do anything. So you need to have a strong support system. It's important to have friends that are around you, that are keeping you as a human being. Yes, because you can't do anything. It sounds so stupid, but you want to watch. I listen to a lot of music, so I have my Deezer account, and I wanted to switch on my music cut off. I was like, what is that? Even music, Netflix cut off. So you are cut from every single stuff that you do. You want to buy a book, usually you go to Amazon or to Fnac or to what something, and then you order it and then it's delivered. You can't do it anymore. You have to shift, and what you have to do is to build a new ecosystem around you that is outside of occupied Europe, because I think Europe is not free anymore. So you have now to start looking for banks outside of Europe. You have to look for platforms outside of Europe. So you have to reconfigure everything in your immediate day-to-day.
That's a very good point. Can you give advice? Because, I mean, we are now at 59 people. We are at 2 Swiss. There will be more. There will be more. It will be hundreds. It will be thousands, maybe 10,000s. This tool, they will not let go of it. There's a very good argument that the European Union will keep this thing indefinitely, the Russian sanctions list, even if the war comes to an end, because they can now link it to Russia paying reparations or not. They will keep this tool, and they will put more and more people on it. What do people have to do before they land on it? if they are afraid? I mean, I'm
Yes.
afraid now. I'm afraid.
You
What
are
should I do if I don't want to stop doing what I'm doing? And B, once it happens, what are the recommendations?
I think maybe you have a bit of advance because you are located in another part of the world. So you certainly already have banks account and stuff like that in Japan and elsewhere. That's the first recommendation. Ensure that you get a bank account somewhere where they do not apply sanction. Ensure that you try and get a Union Pay credit card of China or of other people, that do not systematically apply sanctions, because some countries apply sanctions, international sanctions, only when they are taken over by the UN or the American or the OFAC sometimes, because the Americans are the cowboys of the world, but this also tends to diminish. But try to have a bank account or something in a part of the world where they are not applying sanctions. So Asia, Arabic world, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's not easy to open a bank account in a country that you're not a resident in, but it needs some research.
Difficult. There are ways, but it is really cumbersome. I must say, maybe I should do a video one day into giving advice, a tutorial how.
Yes, please. Please.
I think I will consider doing that, because
we need that now.
No, absolutely. I mean, we laugh, but it's
not funny. I mean, this is serious.
Yeah. It's a matter of survival, actually. For people that are in crypto, get out of Binance and those centralized platforms, because they close it the minute you are on a sanction list. You are unable to access any of those platforms. So go on to externalize wallets, ledgers, Trezors, whatever. Go there, MetaMask. Go there. And then really the core of this, and then obviously social media platforms, providers and stuff like that, look for people that are outside of Europe as providers.
Were you able to get your YouTube channels back and remonetized again?
No, I have it. They did not take it down. They are taking some of my video downs, but not the whole channels. But the monetization has been taken off, because Google is based in Ireland.
Yeah.
They pay out of Ireland.
Yeah.
And Ireland is in the European Union, so
that
you can't provide.
Okay.
They can't provide and provide services or fund to people's sanctions.
But it's still, you still have the channel. You can still post videos. You can.
I can still post up until now. One day might just get off. I mean, Diana Pachenko, that was also on the last sanctions list with Jacques and Xavier. She had a YouTube channel of approximately 2 million people, and before the sanctions, like I think it's 3 or 4 months ago, YouTube took down her channel, a YouTube channel, without any explanation. And I recall that because I retweeted what she wrote about that, because
but these are other mechanisms. It's not a sanction mechanism. It might be done by the same people, but it happens through another channel of putting pressure on the platforms. That's why we have to back up our videos to Rumble and other platforms.
That's the point. That's what I wanted to say. You need to back it up in other platforms, Rumble and those platforms. I usually say to the people in Africa, we need to have our own platforms. As long as you are guests, you are not the owner of the platform. Well, you are meant to the rules that the people are making, because you're just a guest, you're a client. They change the rule, bad luck.
And I know you have to go soon. Any other recommendations for, like, let's say Jacques Beau, who's now since Monday on that list? Anything else he should do immediately?
Well, I think immediately try to have an account outside of the European Union. Really, first thing first. And then maybe Layes, I understand that his editor is in France. I don't know if the editor of his books and stuff like that. So I guess he would get money from that and stuff like that. So maybe find a way to sign a contract with another editor that is not meant to, does not have to comply with the sanction of the European Union and stuff like that. So for him, it would be a lot of stuff that he has to do. I don't know if he has family in Switzerland. Obviously, he would be able to go back to Switzerland because I think he's living close to Switzerland. So even by road or by anything, I don't know if he wants to do that because he moved out of Switzerland in the first place for some reasons.
Yeah, and once he's out of once he's in Switzerland, he wouldn't get back into the EU anymore. I mean, he would be locked in.
That's the problem. That's actually the problem. So for me, it's like try and get out of the EU. I mean, Turkey is close to everything in Europe and has a very good company, airlines that is deserving and that is going all around the world. Think of those stuff, repositioning yourself. Yeah.
And just again, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the point where we are talking about how to advise EU citizens and Swiss citizens how to flee the continent. This is what that monster in Brussels has managed to do. And again, to say this is what they have been doing for decades to people outside of the continent, just so you know.
And even in Jacques' motivation, they say because he's doing stuff that is against Ukraine, but Ukraine is not even part of the European Union, and you go and you sanction people of countries that are not part of the European Union, Switzerland, for what they say about a country that is not part of the European Union, Ukraine. This is madness, completely madness. But as you said, they've been doing it since a long time. In Africa, we experience it since decades and decades and decades. This is our new normal in Africa. So that's why you see me a little bit smiling, because we have been experiencing. That's why I'm fighting against. So it's not something new, but I was shocked that Switzerland was at that level of obedience to the European Union. And when I see that we are discussing bilateral treaties and stuff like that, I am like, it's gone. We've lost the country.
Nathalie, and I must tell you, I apologize again for not being aware just of how disgusting this whole scheme is, and not being aware of what has been happening to you and how this has been used on Africans. I am sorry that I didn't know, and I promise you, I mean, I'm gonna try to make them pay if somehow possible. They will make me pay first, but it's
we need to connect.
We need to connect.
The only solution for me is solidarity, because it goes across the borders, it goes across the continent. It's a matter of humanity, of human rights in the proper sense.
The proper sense.
Human rights. Yes. So we really need to put all our energy, our ideas, our resilience together.
Yes.
Because the enemy that we are fighting is a monster.
Yes.
And alone you can just hit them a bit, but you can't break it. We need to build a strong system all together in order to resist this dystopian reality that they want to impose on us worldwide.
Yes. And the first point will be to create a platform where people can share their experiences, their tips and everything, and try to share ideas and then build from there. I mean, collective action, but without building a pyramid, with building a flat network.
That's absolutely.
Nathalie Yamb, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you, Pascal. Merci. Thank you.